Cześć! Nazywam się Erik Raj. Mam na imię Erik. Siema, siema, co słychać? Dzisiaj jest piękny. Jestem szczęśliwy. Jestem logopedą i chętny z tobą porozmawiam. Jesteście najlepsi i Polska jest najlepsza. Ale mój polski nie jest najlepszy. Więc będę mówić po angielsku, nie po polsku. Nie po polsku. Dziękuję. Bardzo dziękuję. A teraz zaknie mnie. I am so excited to speak to you about Camp Shoutout. Camp Shoutout is a one of a kind summer camp experience in my home country of the United States. It's for young people who stutter. Young people between the ages of 8 and 18 years old come to this wonderful summer camp in an opportunity to grow as communicators through therapy that is happening outdoors in an overnight summer camp experience. They can really learn new wonderful things about who they are as communicators. Camp Shoutout is filled with caring and motivated speech language pathologists. And we come together in an effort to help all of our campers. These campers are so fantastic. They have such great ideas. They have such big hearts. And they also are campers who stutter. I want to show you a 2-minute video because I think it's going to help you be able to really see some of the magic that is Camp Shoutout.
It's just enough to be lucky. It's just enough to be glad I caught a break in the summer. The best I ever had. They say this world has gone crazy. The difference that you make, you take 'em on with that smile in your heart. All this daylight can burn until it lights our way. All those empty nights can suddenly begin to fade. Now you're on your way. We found our way through the pavement. We try to understand what it takes to be given, to hold your heart in your hand. I still remember the promise. I still remember the day we sing the song like a wide open book.
Wow. So much fun. Camp Shoutout is a special place. To jest piękne. Ptaki, drzewa, woda, wszystko, everything. In my opinion and in my life, I've never experienced anything quite like Camp Shoutout. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be a part of that camp every single year. Huge thanks to these two people on the screen right now. These are our co founders. They've put together this camp about 10 years ago. And because of their care and their vision, this camp is going strong. And I really have learned so much from these two people, Kristen Camella and Julie Rayner. They are both speech language pathologists, and none of this camp shoutout thing would ever be possible if it wasn't for them and their continuous love and dedication for this camp. They have created an experience that allows all of us to come together every August and learn. We learn about ourselves as humans. We learn about ourselves as communicators. And we are in the outdoors. The beauty of the wilderness surrounds us as we are thinking about our voice, thinking about the ways that we communicate, thinking about who we are. And I think that there's great things that happen when we can put ourselves in the outdoors. We can learn a lot from not only ourselves, but we can learn from the trees. You know, the trees, they stand tall. They stand strong. Even when there's bad weather, even when there's rain, even when there's wind, the trees, they still stand. So we can take some of those ideas and we could put it into the therapy that we do. We could take those ideas and help us to learn in very real ways. But not only are we learning, we're also playing together every August. And in that video, you were able to see some of what I'm highlighting in this picture. All of that white stuff, that's not snow. That is shaving cream. And a beautiful tradition that we have at Camp Shoutout is we have an all-camp shaving cream fight. So we have a lot of shaving cream. We put it in our hands and we run, and we throw shaving cream all over each other. Children, adults, we are one, and we are having the time of our lives, laughing and smiling and really building that relationship. We do this all camp shaving cream fight right at the very beginning, the first night we are all together, because that really sets the stage for all of the fun and functional times that we will have at Camp Shoutout. As we know, the pandemic has really impacted all of us worldwide. And I'm so proud and so happy that Camp Shoutout still continued in 2020 during the very height and beginnings of the pandemic. We made sure that we put together a digital learning experience for all of our campers because we didn't want them to go a whole year without the opportunity to learn from one another. So Zoom was very much a part of our 2020 experience. But we still played. I want to make that very clear. Yes, we learned a lot through Zoom, but we also played. Look at this funny picture. Remember when I talked about the shaving cream? We still had the shaving cream fight through Zoom. So we mailed a care package to everyone involved during our 2020 season. And at just the right time, we told them open up the package, and in that package, one of the things was a small can of shaving cream. So everyone knew to take that shaving cream and put it on each other, and it was feeling for a moment like we were back at camp, even though we weren't able to that year because of the pandemic. So if you can't see me, that's me in the corner. And if you want to see a up close picture, that's me with shaving cream all over my face. That's what we as clinicians do for all of our clients. And I know that's exactly what you would do for your clients because you care so much about them and you want them to grow and evolve as communicators. Here's what we're going to discuss for this talk. We're going to be talking about the benefits of summer camp experiences. There are many of them. We will then speak a bit about stuttering support benefits. How important is it for us to bring children who stutter together so that they can become friends, so that they can recognize they have a support system? It is very important. We'll also speak about some of the unique therapy approaches that we take during the camp experience. I'll show you some real examples from camp. And then maybe we'll speak about some of those ideas and the ways in which they could be used outside of camp. You can take some of these ideas and bring them directly into your therapy room. Whether it's a physical therapy room, whether it's a digital therapy room, in a teletherapy experience, I do believe that many of these ideas can exist outside of camp. So let me tell you a little bit about summer camp experiences in a broad way. I love this study that I'm citing here because it highlights just how powerful summer camp experiences can be. So this study looked at over 5,000 families who all had the opportunity to be a part of one of 80 different summer camp experiences. And in this study, all of the participants seemed to state some of the following. They seemed to state that summer camp experiences absolutely increased the campers' confidence and their self-esteem, right? They felt so much better about themselves. They felt a little bit more strong, right? They also spoke about how the summer camp experience, it created very real social relationships. They felt like they were a part of a team. They felt almost like they had this second family in that camp world. And from all of that, that was able to foster a great deal of independence on the part of that camper. And that camper felt like they had a lot more leadership qualities to them. So all of that to say, summer camps absolutely seem to be a positive force for in our young people, right? And in the youth development of the camper. And when I think about all of those findings, well, isn't that exactly what we as clinicians want to be a part of? I mean, isn't that exactly what we want to infuse into the lives of all of the children that we work together with? We want them to have high levels of confidence and self-esteem so that they can say what they want when they want. We want them to be a part of very real social relationships so that they can feel supported. And we want them to absolutely feel like they are independent and that they are leaders. Because to be a successful adult, I feel like our children should be experiencing very real leadership experiences and different instances where they can practice being independent. That's exactly what we want our therapy to do, and that's what summer camp experiences easily and effortlessly have in play. Let's talk about stuttering for a few moments. We know through the literature that stuttering is consistently now defined as a multidimensional disorder. And when we say multidimensional, we mean there are multiple dimensions, multiple layers to this communication difference. Stuttering not only impacts a person's verbal speech patterns, it also seems to impact some speakers' overall quality of life. Some people who stutter have reported some negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are directly related to their communication struggles. Sometimes they will state shame, fear, anxiety that is a result of their temporary disruption in their forward flow of speech. So those negative thoughts and feelings and emotions, they can play a role in the speaker's overall quality of life, and it can negatively impact their overall quality of life. One of the things that has been found to be very important to help increase the overall quality of life for children and adults, people who stutter, are support systems. It has been found that self-help conferences for people who stutter have absolutely been found to improve quality of life. The well-being of those people that go to those and the self-esteem of those attendees are much higher after they've been a part of that than before they've been a part of that. And additionally, local self-help meetings, such as perhaps meetings that happen once a month or perhaps every few weeks, people that attend those have reported very real positive impacts on the ways in which they view themselves. Their self-image seems to be so much higher, and they also report feeling a lot more acceptance of themselves as people who stutter. So all of this to say, there's very much something about the power of people coming together who have something similar. And that similarity is the fact that they are all people who stutter. So, how about using camp experiences as a form of support for people who stutter? We at Camp Shoutout believe that when we get children together who stutter, magic can happen. Magic does happen when we do that. There are a lot of different summer camp experiences currently existing for children and teens who are all individuals who stutter, and they help them all to be able to connect and share with other young people who stutter. So this research citation right here that I'm citing, this can be found in your reference section at the end of the slides. I believe that this is a great article because it highlights a lot of different camps and some of the differences between those camps. So certainly if you can, give that a read so that you can expose yourself to different ways that certain camps operate. And I'm going to share with you one of the camps that was mentioned in that research article, and that camp is Camp Shoutout. And what we do at Camp Shoutout, we have a real emphasis on what is called communication competence. And the ways in which we show this to our campers is across 5 basic elements. And we call those elements attentive, assertive, competent, effective, and proactive. You see this picture. This is of a necklace. At Camp Shoutout, what we do is we give every one of our campers and all of us, everyone at the camp, we wear that necklace with those 5 words on them. And that's a reminder to all of us to really hold on to those words, to embody those words. So if we ever forget those words, we always say, it's around your neck. Look at those words, think back to those words, and that's a really good visual reminder for all of us, because all of us are learning to grow and evolve as communicators, not just the campers, but the adults too. We take those words very seriously. You can find those words on our camp shirts. So as you see, it says attentive, assertive, confident, effective, proactive. We have those words hanging up all around our camp so that everyone can try to remember them and everyone can try to live those words. I'm going to teach you about those words. And we're going to see how some of those words can be infused into the great work that you're doing in Poland. But before we learn about the first word, which is attentive, let's look at this picture. I don't know about you, but when I look at that picture, I get kind of scared because that's very high. Many, many children climb up. They look down and they say, ah! I will share with you, I have climbed up and I look down and I say, ah! Whew, it's kind of scary. What we do at camp is we take some of those scary times and we talk about those times. Because to be attentive is to be aware of yourself, to be monitoring yourself. How are you feeling? What are you thinking right now, right? And a beautiful word that we always use is this word notice. When we're thinking about being attentive, we will often ask our campers, what do you notice right now? So to the camper who's about to do the climbing, that camper very well might say, I'm noticing my heart is beating fast. And we say, that's interesting. And then we get into a conversation about what are you saying to yourself? Because sometimes our students and our clients who stutter, they might say to themselves, I'm really nervous before this presentation. I feel my heart's beating out of my chest. And they might then say to themselves, I can't do this. Oh no, I know I can't do this. I'm gonna stutter. And then they might choose to say, can I go to the bathroom? But they don't have to go to the bathroom, but they're trying to get away from the presentation. So, it's important for us to sometimes talk about some of those feelings that are unrelated to communication. We could talk about the ways that you're speaking to yourself before you start climbing. They might say to themselves, I know I can't climb. Oh, I know I'm going to fall. And we say, do you really know you're going to fall? Do you have a magic crystal ball and you saw into the future and you saw yourself falling? We laugh about that together. And they say, well, no, I don't really. And then we honestly talk about what can you do to just take one step forward. One hand on the wall, one foot on the groove. What can you do to then go up one more? And then one more, and then one more. And then before you know it, you made it to the top. Wow. The same can be done for communication. So we coach our campers to be mindful of how are they aware of how they're feeling, how are they monitoring themselves, big picture, whether it's related to the rock climbing or whether it's related to them as communicators. And big things consistently happen when we do that. So that camper was getting ready in those couple of pictures that we saw, and now the camper is actually doing it, climbing. At one time, a few minutes before, the camper was sweating, right? Camper was nervous, but we can take that sweat, we could take that nerves, and we could turn it into excitement when we think about our mindset, when we think about the ways in which our heart and our mind are kind of talking to each other, they can climb high and they too can swing across the trees in a way that is very important to who they are as people. And it's not only the children that we are challenging to take chances, it's also us as adults. So look at this picture. This is me. I was nervous to do these ropes courses that you'll see in this picture. And not only will I show you pictures, I'm going to be authentic with you. I'm going to show you a video. This is a quick video of me doing what's in this picture, and I think you'll see how nervous I was, but I think you'll also hear how the campers on the ground were cheering me on. They were using their voices to really motivate me to keep moving forward, which is exactly what we as clinicians do to our clients. We motivate them to keep moving forward as communicators, right? So let's watch this for a few moments.
Yeah, you can.
Come on, Erik!
Walk around with it. Do you remember his quote from yesterday?
Alright, I'm not gonna. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna be slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Erik!
It's go time! Yeah! Woo! Oh my god!
Good job, Erik!
Come on, Erik! Cheer him on, guys. Cheer him on.
Good job, Erik. You got it.
Sometimes,
I
yes.
got
Alright,
it.
go about halfway back.
Alright, halfway.
Go backwards, Erik.
Get me out of here!
Yeah. You're good. You're good. You're good.
How you doing, Erik?
Yeah, I'm good.
Erik, you did it.
No, that was work. Oh god!
What a fun video. My campers were cheering me on and giving me the motivation that I needed. And this transfers perfectly to our next point. What does it mean to be assertive? Well, what we heard in that video are campers turning their voices on in a loud and proud manner. They were screaming, "Go, Erik! You can do it! You got this!" Right? To be assertive is to initiate. To be assertive is to participate. To be assertive is to advocate for yourself as it relates to your communication interactions, right? So one of the sentences that many of us at Camp Shoutout will often ask our clients and our campers throughout the day is, hey, how many people heard you today? And what does that mean? Well, that really means how many times did you use your voice in a way that was loud and in a way that was proud? At camp, we set up so many opportunities for students to be able to use their voice in a very powerful way, to use their voice to provide very valuable information, such as what's on the lunch menu, such as what time is snack time, such as what time is the lake swimming time. We have many different microphones throughout the camp, and those microphones are attached to very loud speakers that project their voice all throughout the campus. It's amazing when we can coach our campers to be assertive, and when we coach them to recognize the power of their voice, they very often get to the point where they say, "Give me the microphone. It's my turn to be able to share with my campers." And when they share with their campers, they know that at times there might be a stutter. There might be perhaps a temporary disruption in their forward flow of speech. But they can work through it, and they do work through it, and they absolutely do Finish what they start, because that's what it's all about. Finish what you start. Participate as a communicator. Initiate communication opportunities. Give me the microphone. That is the best sentence that I often hear from our campers as the week progresses in the work that we're all doing together. At camp, like many camps, we also have a camp talent show that we do, and that's another opportunity for so many initiation experiences. They are participating in very real ways with their voice. Some of our campers might sing. Some of our campers might tell jokes. Some of our campers might do a quick play and act out something. I want to highlight one really cool camper who enjoys music. And I want to listen to a song just for a minute so that we can see the power of a young person who truly believes in the song and in the melody of the voice.
1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the first verse. Told all my stories and all of my best jokes to kids in the classroom, but they didn't get it. I worked so hard to be like them. If I changed my speech, would I fit in? No, the way that I speak makes me who I am, and I won't apologize. The way that I speak makes me who I am, and I'm gonna tell my story loud and clear. And that's all that I have so far.
Oh my God, that is so unbelievably cool.
Thank you.
What is one of the lyrics that really jumps out to you and you're like, I got to put that in? Like, I would love to just get your perspective.
I think the first chorus line, the way that I speak makes me who I am, and I won't apologize. I think that every kid who stutters can relate to that. Like, not being taken seriously just because you sound different isn't valid. Like, it's not anything that any kid who stutters has to apologize for.
Wow. That absolutely is a camper who is showing us very real examples of what it means to be assertive, to initiate, to put yourself out there, to sing that song loud and proud. And she's also showing us confidence, right? So what does it mean to be confident as it relates to the camp experience? Well, we talk about the power of using your body, right? Using your voice volume in a way that is very appropriate to the situation. You know, how can you stand tall, stand proud, shoulders out, chest out? We want you to own it. Own your voice. Own who you are as a communicator. Look that person in the eye and say exactly what you want to say in a way that gets you what it is you're looking for, right? To communicate is to share your wants, thoughts, needs, your dreams. It's very important. One of the ways that we can do this is we can have a conversation about, how do you stand? Let's look at our bodies. Let's stand up. How are you presenting yourself? And we can perhaps point to the horses at times. At camp, we're so lucky to have access to horses. We can go on horseback riding experiences during certain times. And it's important for us to see, this wonderful animal who's standing nice and tall. Horses are very strong, right? So what do you notice about a horse with the way that they stand, and how might you be able to mirror some of that? How might you be able to borrow some of those qualities, standing tall and standing strong, right? So we take some camp experiences and we are allowing ourselves to now bring the communication idea into the circle, into the frame. So we can first look at it from a camp experience, but then think about it from a communication experience, and then really internalize it in a lasting way.
Wow, Scott caught a fish! Oh man! What? Yes!
Oh, yeah.
Wow! Yes!
There we go. Picture Tom.
Wow,
Right
man!
up there.
What is that?
Dude!
Little
Yes!
Is that a little
Yes,
blue
yes.
or what?
That is a spectacular video because what you could see is Scott standing nice and tall. He was very proud and he was sharing with the world his accomplishments, right? And all of that is something that we can bring back to the therapy room to talk about standing tall like Scott. Remember when Scott got that fish? He caught that fish. He was standing nice and strong. How can you stand nice and strong with your communication? Let's practice it. There's a lot of doing at Camp Shoutout. It's not just talking about it, but it's doing, because there's power in the doing. The more we do, the more it becomes automatic, and that changes the brain. The more we do, the more positive experiences that we have. We are putting all of that in the brain, and we're helping that child to feel confident as a communicator. So speaking about the doing, maybe we could talk about what it means to be effective. How might we be effective in the ways in which we live as campers and the ways in which we live as communicators, right? So to be effective is generally speaking about communicating with greater ease, intelligibility, organization of ideas. So we might ask our campers, did you move forward in what it was that you were doing? Did you do what you want to do when you wanted to do it, right? So we play a lot of sports with our campers. And when we play sports, we're planning a lot of things, right? We're organizing our strategies, organizing our ideas, right? We put in plays. Like if you're playing basketball, you might want to do a certain play. First, you'll pass to your one friend, and then your other friend's going to pass to the other friend, and then that friend's going to shoot the ball. So we have these conversations about planning and organizing. And the more we plan and organize, there seems to be a greater ease in doing the thing. So it's all about helping our campers feel confident going through the ideas, going through the organization. From a basketball perspective, getting our camper confident with shouting, "I'm open," because they trust the process. They trust the organization that they've been doing. They believe that they can deliver. They believe they can shoot the ball, and they believe the ball can go in. In the same way, they believe the words can leave their mouth in a manner that is intelligible, in a manner that is understood by everyone around them. They said what they wanted to say when they wanted to say it. It's an amazing thing, and it happens over and over again in camp. And perhaps it can start to happen over and over again in the work you do, because perhaps you're playing some variation of basketball in the therapy room. We all have small little basketballs maybe, and maybe you're going to throw the basketball in a hoop, or take a piece of paper, crumble up the paper, and throw it in the garbage. Think about how you might plan to do that. How do you organize your thoughts in order to get the ball or the garbage to leave your hand to go into the garbage can? The same can be said for, think about the ways in which you are planning to have the words come out of your mouth. Organize your ideas, maybe through different types of practice, you're able to communicate in an easier way, in a way that is less tense and more forward moving. Maybe. I love this picture because it really shows us an effective communicator. So that person sitting in the middle of that circle says, I was effective when I was communicating with the campers and with everyone. Everyone heard me, even the people behind me. So to be an effective communicator is to communicate with power to make sure that everyone hears you, even those behind you. What a beautiful thing. What does it mean to be proactive? Well, that means that we are setting ourselves up for success. Proactive, to plan, to perhaps deal with attitudes and emotions in a way that is healthy. We're often asking ourselves, what can you do to help yourself? So from a communication standpoint, there are lots of different things that a camper might choose to do to help them during the moments of communication. Maybe, in a very practical way, we could teach them that, yes, you can write things out at times. You don't always have to have all the information in your mind. Maybe you can write things out, and that might help you during the moments of communication. So that's why I love this picture, because you could see a camper wrote something out, wrote out an announcement for the day, didn't have to memorize it in that moment, could write it out. Not only did the camper write it out, but the camper asked for some support. So we can see one of our facilitators with the microphone. If the camper was getting stuck, the camper and the facilitator discussed how perhaps the facilitator might be able to help out and help say some of the words in an attempt for the camper to feel like the camper is able to move forward as a communicator. And there's also a peer next to the camper that is also there assisting at times if the assistance is needed. So it's really just recognizing that you have ways in which you can find support, whether it's through your peers, whether it's through other things you can do, such as writing things down. Those are just a couple of examples of how you can be proactive. If you can think about the ways in which you set yourself up for success, really good things can happen. And I love how support is a theme in all that we do at camp. And camp only happens 1 week out of the year. So what happens with all the other weeks out of the year? Well, the internet happens. And we've discovered that through different social media, social networking experiences, through different internet experiences, these campers are communicating with each other daily, weekly. The support system is still in play even though they're not physically together. Some of these campers live very far away. Some of them live 10, 15 hours from each other, but they're still connected through the internet, through different types of internet experiences. Remember, you're not alone. That is one of the key things that I think helps a camper to be proactive, to remember that and to reach out to their fellow campers in an attempt to have that support system. As we come to a close, I'm very excited to share with you a research study that myself and the members of Camp Shoutout have just completed. We have spoken to 10 different campers who are all 18 years of age and older. Of these 10 campers, a majority of them have been a part of the camp experience for 5, 6, 7 years straight. So what we asked them to do is we asked them to think back to their time as campers. And in semi-structured interviews, in a qualitative research approach, we were able to discover that they believed Camp Shoutout made a real difference in them years and years after the fact of Camp Shoutout. We've discovered that they believe they've gained so much confidence from Camp Shoutout. They believe that there's a real sense of community, a lasting community, lasting friendships as a result of Camp Shoutout, and an overall communication empowerment that was instilled in their minds as a result of what we do at Camp Shoutout. I can't wait to present this research as a poster at this year's American Speech Language Hearing Association convention that's happening in Washington, D.C. After we present this research, we hope to have it published. And the moment it's published, I promise, I will let you know and you can read it. Thank you, my friends. It's such a pleasure to connect with you. I wish you all the success in the world as you continue to do the great work you do as clinicians. I hope that some of this information gives you some ideas. I hope that it helps you to perhaps discover new ways that you can connect with your amazing students, children, clients, and perhaps their families, their parents, their caregivers, because it really takes a community to help our wonderful students and children. Dziękuję, bardzo, bardzo dziękuję. Papa.